You know, when I started here on YouTube over 3 years ago, I had a very different timeline in mind for hitting this milestone. But working so hard for 3 years really makes me appreciate this more. And I have seen every single one of you subscribe, and every single one makes me smile. And so when I look and I see 10,000 subscribers, I'm also seeing 10,000 moments that made me smile. I'm sorry to start on kind of a mushy note, but I'm just sort of soaking this all in and just really appreciating you being here. And when I say you, I'm talking to you, because I don't hit any of these milestones without you. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of react to some of my best advice that I've given over the last 3 years. Some of it will be from older videos, some of it will be from videos that I thought were gonna take off because the advice was so good and then maybe they just didn't. So this first one is a video I did in June 2019, which is less than a year in from when I started my channel, called 10 Inexpensive Ways to Update Your Wardrobe After College. I'll have all these videos linked in the description box in case you're really interested, but these first are pretty cringy and it's really hard for me to watch. Number one is to stock up on blazers. This is the easiest way to adult. Things I'm noticing already: sound has gotten better. I'm becoming more natural just talking on camera as if I'm talking to you. An outfit. Take what you wear on any normal weekend, add a blazer, and you instantly have a stylish outfit. Oof. Blazers can also be the perfect completer piece for work. That blazer, no, I wouldn't do that blazer now. That one is a little bit short in my opinion for a weekend look. Now, I was trying to really show that you could do double duty with the blazers that you are going to be wearing to work, as well as wearing them on the weekends. Since then, I would definitely recommend a little bit larger, a little bit boxier, a little bit more masculine, because then it's just easier. Those ones are easier to move around. That was a little bit too prim. Now you might be thinking,
Jules, blazers are way too formal for my job.
My gosh, you all still tell me that. You all still will comment whenever I recommend blazers and having a collection of blazers. The reason I put this one in here is because I was saying it years ago and I'm repeating myself, and I was already having people then say, oh, it's too formal, or this doesn't work for where I live. Every time I say have a collection of blazers, I always get this pushback, which is fine. Like, wear what you want to wear. I am by no means like the expert, and what I say goes, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong. Like, that's the fun thing about style. You can disagree, you can pick and choose what I say. But here's the thing. When you're the youngest person in an office, people are going to be quicker to judge you, and your appearance has an effect on that. Yes, I could talk to you all day long about how people in an office will judge the youngest person in office, or the younger people, the younger generation. And so when I was younger, I would try harder. I would dress up more so that I was taken seriously, because I was actually really knowledgeable in my field. But because I was new to the field, even though I'd had years of experience walking in, I wasn't taken as seriously. Adding a blazer is an easy way to get others to take you more seriously and also add to your personal brand in the office. All of these blazers are from H&M that I've collected over. Love H&M blazers, they're the best. This next one is from my video, Fashion Mistakes Women Make in Their 20s. This is another one from June 2019, but you can tell it was recorded before the last one because the walls are blue. This room used to be painted blue. Number 7, we've all seen them. Prowling, lurking, stomping. The dinosaurs. Oh my gosh. Or just women wearing heels that are way too high. They stomp up and down when they walk. Actually, I thought that was really funny when I made it. And it still kind of is. It's cute. It's a little cringe. But you know, I was trying to show my personality, that I like to have fun, and a dinosaur graphic would have been great there. I believe I've done a dinosaur graphic in another video at one point. But all that aside, this is a really good point. It is so important to wear heels you can actually walk in heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. But the more you practice, the more you break in shoes, and the better quality you get of shoes, the easier that will be. If you go too cheap in a pair of heels, then you'll never break them in, and they'll just only give you blisters, and you'll only ever be a dinosaur. Yep. Don't be a dinosaur. Don't be a dinosaur. But that is something I do like to preach. I really enjoy investing in shoes. Now, that's not for everyone. An investment is different for different people, but life is so much better when you can comfortably walk around. You'll feel really stylish. Like, I totally agree with this. And I don't think it's just women in their 20s, but I feel like especially in your 20s, where you start to have a little bit more cash, that you just start to kind of like create a shoe collection, and maybe still buying shoes that fall apart really easily. All right, this next one is from my video, 10 hacks for work to weekend style. This was actually a follow-up to inexpensive ways to update your wardrobe after college, because I was hearing a lot from people who are a little bit younger than me of the struggles of getting all new outfits and then feeling like you can't wear those outfits to work, but then feeling like, what's the point of buying clothes that you only wear 2 days a week, and just not feeling like they had any sense of like a true style because they were mostly wearing work clothes and lounge clothes. So hack number 1 is for your blouses, and that is to pick a blouse in a solid color rather than in a print. Now, that doesn't mean you can never buy a printed blouse again. No, it's just that blouses in solid colors are easier to dress down on the weekends. Prints can quickly outdate something. Just like colors kind of come in and out of style, prints are the same way. Like, think of a chevron pattern. That was something that became very quickly dated. It became very much overused. And so choosing a solid one is going to be more timeless and it's going to last you longer, but it's also going to be able to flux as the trends change. And so as you want to dress something up or as you want to dress something down, it's going to be able to do that really easily. There's also kind of the, I don't want to say stigma, but sort of the brand of the printed blouse with the solid pants. It just seems very like professional, but like cutesy professional, that on the weekends can seem a bit stiff. In my opinion, according to my style, that's why I more prefer to play with solids, colors, and textures rather than playing with prints. Printed blouses can look really dressy and formal, so it can be hard to pair jeans with printed blouses because it'll look like you just came from the office on casual Friday. Solid colors will allow the texture and structure of the top to really see how much better that looks. This right here, just with this is actually kind of a shimmery tan button-up blouse with the white pants. That, even though it's a few years old, that works a lot better at today's standards than the other outfit did. Speak for itself. And then with the right layers, it can look so stylish on the weekends. All right, this next one is from my most viewed video, which to be honest, by YouTube standards, isn't that many views. I have not had a video go viral or get picked up really quickly. I'm just a slow chugging train and just taking everything one step at a time. So this is from the life-changing hacks when high-rise pants are too high, how to fix high-waisted jeans. Some people did watch this video. It is a little bit misleading. I kind of messed up the keywords on this, but they thought it was like a sewing hack. While it's no sewing required, it is not in fact a sewing hack. It is just some kind of tips to wear high-rise jeans without feeling like they're too high on you. I know what I'm gonna say here, and I wanted to include this because I get so many questions about this, and I'm always like, this is really hard to describe like in a comment, but it hasn't come up in a recent video, so I decided to kind of put it in here. And if you've been watching my channel and you've been wondering about this, I hope this can help. Now let's get into the hacks where it's just easy, quick fixes that are gonna make your life so much easier. And to make this work, you may need to go up a size, but it's a small change that can really make a big difference. But I pull down my pants. I make sure they're loose enough, stretchy enough, comfortable enough. I don't want them to be super tight on my waist because then I can't pull them down. So what I actually do is I pull them down maybe an inch, half an inch. It really depends on that rise of the jean. Again, measure it. So the common question I get is like, once you pull them down, the crotch is really low, it bunches up weird, like what do you do? So my first response is I don't pull them down that far. So it's just a little bit. And then what I do with that extra fabric is I kind of zhuzh it around, kind of, wiggle your butt a little bit so that some of those folds line up with how you would sit down. So it just looks like you normally would wear pants. If your pants are perfectly flat and straight all the time, like that's not how normal people live. We're not all models modeling our pants. Like when you sit down and stand up, they're gonna be a little bit bunched right here at where you bend. And so all I do is I hide those folds as best as I can in those folds. And then if it's something like a legging, which we will be getting into more activewear, I've had that request so much and I'm sorry, I will be getting to activewear. But with leggings, because they're tighter, you can get away with putting some of those folds down your leg a little bit and kind of pulling them down. Again, I choose a shorter hem so that when I pull them down, there's still room in my leg and it's not bunching at my ankle. But you have to strategically hide those folds into places that are already folding. So there's no perfect answer, but I just pull it down to where on my body I like high-rise jeans to come. And for me, that is just a little bit above my belly button. It's right before I get to the smallest part of my waist because I want my waist to look even smaller than the high-rise jean. And so I just pull them down. And what that actually does is it also makes the crotch of the jean go down too. And if you have longer legs, then it can balance out your proportions if you have a short torso. But I'm gonna get to that more here in a minute, so let's move on. So it can kind of be nice almost when you have a mid-rise jean that you can just pull down a little bit to shorten your legs. I know everyone is like, I would love my long legs, which is great, but it is also about balance and creating balance throughout your body. And so if I can make my legs look a little bit more proportional to the rest of me, then that is my personal goal. All right, this next one is, I think this is my second most popular video. There's been some videos I've hidden since because they have nothing to do with what I talk about anymore on my channel, but I think this is my second most popular. These 7 things you should never wear if you have a short torso, long legs body type. Anything that has a bone-in structure. You see this mostly nowadays in tops. They're really cute. In fact, I almost just bought one and then realized, wait, I don't buy those things anymore. Basically, it's that piping that kind of maintains the structure and the seams of a top or even a dress. And my main issue with these is that the bones or that piping or that structure, it always would fall right here on me because it's meant to follow your rib. This one I put in here because for me, it was such a breakthrough moment when I realized that this doesn't work for me and it's not my fault. I think, you know, whenever I would try these, it'd be like, oh, this just doesn't line up on me because I'm just weird or I'm different or I don't look like a model. I don't have like this perfect body type. And then I realized, oh, no, it's not me. And so I think that's why this video resonated with so many people, is because I was able to say, hey, this doesn't work for me. And if it's not working for you too, hey, you're not alone. And that has been one of the things I've loved most about this channel and this community, is just how many people have reached out and said, I thought I was the only one who had a body like this. We have the same struggles that we've been silently kind of like just feeling cruddy about. And whenever you try something on or it doesn't work, you're like, ugh, of course it doesn't work on me. It's like, actually, there's a perfectly normal, reasonable explanation about why it's not working, and it's totally okay. In fact, sometimes you just have to be grateful that not everything works on you, because then you don't have to buy everything. But my rib cage meets my hips. Like there's no room in between the bottom of my rib cage and the top of my hips. So what would happen is the bones would go straight into my waist and then it just sort of pops out where your hip would start. So you don't really get that nice corseting effect where you get that nice smooth transition that I'm always striving to have, but always seems so out of reach. I think the first time I really noticed this, and I didn't realize I noticed this until, trust me, years later, but it was at prom. And I had like this strapless bra. It was one of those long bras, I think, that went down to here. And it always bothered me that it never looked like a nice corset. It always stopped here and then my hips would just pop out. And it was always a little uncomfortable too, because it's like poking all of your organs because they're already squished down. I really never connected those dots until relatively recently. I sort of, and I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but I am pretty sure that dress I'm wearing there is a size 2. So it's not like, oh, well, you know, if you're a certain size, then that can happen. It's like, no, that can happen on any size. And then it can really mess with you thinking that you need to lose weight in order to look a certain way. Grudgingly don't wear those kind of tops, not because I don't love them, but just because they never look on me how I want them to. And you will never wear things that you don't love. If it looks good on you and you feel good in it, then you'll be happy and you'll forget that you even liked those things. Like it's like a breakup. You just have to break up with that outfit, break up with that garment and say, you know what? This relationship isn't working. I'm going to go move on to something that's healthier, and you'll just be happier and you won't even care that you can't wear those or prefer not to wear those. All right, this next video did not do as well as I really hoped. It's probably the thumbnail. Either way, I wanted to share this part. I just wanted it to reach more people, not because I wanted the views or anything. I wanted the message to get out. And so we're gonna try again here. So this video is from earlier this year called Feel More Confident in Your Body, 5 Life-Changing Tips You Need. And the thumbnail said the key to body confidence. And so this part is the key. The video leading up, I think, are really good foundational pieces. And then this is the key. All right, so up to this point, we've just been talking about how to embrace the body that we have. So now this is the key to tapping into taking what you have and feeling like that bikini model, even if you can't look like her. And it can all be summarized in one word: proportional. And think about it, it totally makes sense. Your eye is drawn to things that are in balance and that are in proportion. Light versus dark balance and contrast. Proportional, big and small. That balance is something I have been talking about this a lot more. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, well, good on me for thinking about this earlier, but also I've been talking about this a lot. The reason sometimes we're attracted to a certain body type or a certain outfit or even a garment that's styled some way online is because it looks balanced, it looks proportional on the way that it's styled. So the key to body confidence can be trying to become more proportional yourself, even though you're not, and that's okay. But it's also realizing that some of the things you like, you're liking because they're proportional, not because of the color or the cut or the style, because once you put that on you, it might not look the same. And so it's kind of retraining yourself to like things that make you look proportional rather than that are looking proportional on a model. Our eye likes. And so we see it a lot in advertising and on Instagram. Great pictures have a lot of proportion and a lot of balance. So when we're comparing ourselves to someone, we're not always necessarily comparing how skinny her ankles are sometimes, but we're looking at the picture as a whole. So the key to feeling confident and feeling like a model or someone you see on Instagram is looking like you're in balance and in proportion throughout your entire body. But like we just talked about, every body is different. So going back to what we were talking about earlier when we were just looking at our waist, that actually plays into our vertical proportions. I mean, can I just like honorable mention the vertical body shape? I talk about it so much in different videos because there might be people who are new coming to my channel saying, oh, what is she talking about? Vertical body shape. If this is your first time here, welcome. You need to know your vertical body shape. Is it as fun or as branded as the Apple Pear rectangle hourglass model? No, but it's a whole heck of a lot more useful in our vertical body shape. You can have a short torso and be tall or have long legs and be short. The perfect body is just a proportional body. And how curvy or how skinny models are totally depend on the time and what is on trend. So don't worry too much about that. Let's just work on helping you feel more proportional. And even if you're watching this saying, oh, but I'm not proportional. Girl, I'm not either. I think I saw something, don't quote me on this, but I think I saw that like 13% of bodies are hourglass. And that's just hourglass. That's not even talking about if it's long torso, short torso, or proportional. Or maybe it was 13% are considered the perfect body. I don't remember. My point being, the rest of us, the 85+% of us, we're all trying to achieve this ideal that is really hard and actually really rare. When in the end, all that really matters is how something fits your body. Like, who cares how something fits someone else? Unless you're like a personal stylist, then you do have to care how things fit like different bodies because that's literally your job. But the everyday person, just learn you. But for most of us aren't proportional, so we all have to figure out the little ways that we can pull this off, and we're all just gonna do it differently, and that's okay. It comes down to what you wear, how you style it, what colors you pick. There's so many things that play into this. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what you should or shouldn't wear, but I do understand how confidence boosting it can feel when you are just feeling more proportionate, which is why I do so many videos on it. And I hope they've been helpful. On a similar note, this was a video that has started to gain a little bit more traction. It's still pretty low in views, but it's called the 12 Style Secrets to More Flattering Outfits, How to Look Proportional. My next secret, I feel like I could do a whole video on, and I talk about this sort of thing a lot, but as much as we're talking about clothes and building an outfit, it's almost like you have to think of the clothes, but you also have to think of the negative space, which is your skin, what the clothes aren't covering. So your skin is just as important as your clothes. And yes, that includes making sure that your skin is moisturized and that you use sunscreen and you're taking care of your skin. That's all great. But that's not the whole thing I'm talking about here. What I mean is just in the same way as my sleeve is like a 3/4 sleeve, my skin is making up the rest. So by this being a darker color and this being a lighter color, there's contrast going on as if I'm wearing a whole sleeve of color right here. The same goes for my neck and my V-neck tip from earlier. If you have a lot of skin up here, that is one big color that is showing. And then you need to balance that out with another large piece of color. If you have one big piece of color and then a bunch of little pieces of color, that may start to make you look imbalanced, out of proportion, and you may not just feel as flattered by that outfit. Wow, and if you've been watching my videos recently, I've been talking about this a lot. And probably some of those tips should have been in this video, but I'm keeping it to 10 and I'm kind of regretting it because this is kind of a long video for me. I talk about your skin a lot, especially when it comes to basics. I think I talked about it in a recent video about things to avoid or things to know, things to pay attention to. Kind of pay attention to that because maybe something isn't working because of the skin that is showing. Right, it is not just about the garment that you're wearing. It is also about how it plays into your skin and how it plays into your features. There are so many things you can consider, but once you figure out kind of your own body's formula, it becomes really easy to find great outfits. All right, this next one I feel like has so much good info for my my short torso family, but I very much branded this as long legs and it didn't seem to get the same amount of traction. So if you have a short torso and you haven't seen this video, I highly recommend it. But my first tip is to avoid dark jeans with dark boots. It could be ankle boots, it could be calf boots, it could be knee-high boots. But essentially this point of advice really helps lengthen your legs. But if you already have long legs, it really lengthens them and really out of proportion with the rest of your body. With that darker color, it's really weighing your bottom half down. But if you pair that and any type of mid or high-rise pant, then it suddenly just becomes almost your entire body is really dark. And you really have to balance it out with something dark and tall on top to make those proportions work, which some people like the look of really long legs, and that's fine. Again, I'm looking for proportional rather than just trying to make my legs as long as possible. This is one you hear a lot, is like the dark boots with the dark jeans that makes your legs look really long. But if you already have long legs and you're trying to look proportional, that is actually not going to have the effect that you want. Now that doesn't mean you can't, and of course you can always wear whatever you want to wear and what makes you happy. But so you could pair that with an all black outfit or an all dark outfit, and it's totally fine. Or you could put something lighter in the middle and then something darker again on top to balance it out. The problems come when you have so much dark on the bottom or so much elongating on the bottom and then nothing to balance it out on top. If you already have long legs, that could just make you look like you're teetering. But if you'd like to make a couple of adjustments to make this work for your long legs, I recommend one, having a little bit of your ankle showing. A peep of ankle at the bottom is just a great way to break up the legs and the feet, but then also pairing the rest of your outfit in that same dark color. So then it all blends together and makes you look like one tall person. Let me just repeat myself. All right, so this next video is called the 6 fashion items that I no longer buy because they don't work. All right, this is somewhat of a trendier one, but hear me out. The next one I no longer buy are large brim hats. You know, the blogger look of having that nice wide brim fedora. I was so excited when I found mine. It wasn't all that expensive and it's really good quality. I ironed out the rim. I just felt so cool having one. I don't know what it is about this, but I often think this doesn't work in most outfits. There are some I think it definitely works in, but in general, I think if you just have one of these, you're good. You don't need to go buy a bunch. Just one wide brim hat, one felt, kind of stiff wide brim hat is good. Having one nice large brim sun hat is a good one, but in general, I think smaller hats are a little bit more timeless. This is definitely more of a personal preference. Is it my best piece of advice? Debatable, but I had to put this in here because I don't know if it's just me or maybe I'm just still seeing it, but I am still seeing these hats everywhere and I'm just like, oh, we're not over this. Okay, I have one felt brim hat and you can see the seam underneath and that bothers me. I just don't think that's a good look. It just feels like we're all trying too hard. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like a genuine hat people would wear. That's why I'm just not into it. And ones that you're not always gonna look back on and regret buying or wearing. And frankly, they're easier to travel with, they're easier to drive in a car with. A hat needs to feel like it fits and that it's natural and that it's genuine and authentically worn. And if you're wearing it to fit into a trend, it just doesn't feel right. If it's not your style, if it doesn't naturally fit, then don't wear it. But if it is, totally fine. This video is one of my favorite videos because it just was so meaningful to me to post about this and to have people see it and hear my story of this is what I wish I'd known. This is what no one told me about my body shape, wish I'd known sooner. And for me, this video just represents so much of my own journey. I didn't start my YouTube channel knowing that I was going to talk about my short torso. It still wasn't something I knew that I was styling for, and I was still struggling. And once I sort of was like, you know what, I do have this short tour, so let me make a video on it. And then people liked it, so I made a few more, and then people liked those, and so I kept making them. That I realized, oh, there's actually a lot of things I've been doing that I didn't even realize I was doing. It's been such a journey for me that I'm so privileged and honored to be able to share with you and to help you along with that journey. Like, your comments always just make me smile. You're all just so wonderful. Like, I'm gonna stop gushing because it's annoying. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. This video means a lot to me, and this is one of my favorite points that I make in the video because it was so instrumental for me. The third thing that no one told me is that I would never look like this. Not because I didn't eat right or I didn't exercise, but literally because my body's not built that way. And yes, you hear all about, oh, your abs are based off of what you eat and your genetics and how you work them out. There's all kinds of things that go into your abs and your waist. But something that they don't tell you goes into your abs and waist, your skeleton. Like, literally your skeletal structure determines how much space you have to house the abs and genetics and food and everything that go into your waist. Some of our skeletons are longer, some of them have a lot more room, and others of us, like myself, have a lot less room even though we're not technically petite. And to be honest, yes, sometimes that can be frustrating to know I can never look like that. But it's also a little bit freeing too, to let go of that pressure and just say, you know what? I'm just gonna look how I want to look for my body and be happy with that. At least it's helped me come to terms with a lot of the things that I was insecure about and realizing like, oh, actually that's what makes my body unique, which is kind of cool, and I'm gonna move on. That one's hard to react to because I just watched it before filming this video, so you kind of already got my reaction, but that to me is just the perfect note to end on, of just accepting your body and loving your body and just finding out what works for you and loving that. So thank you so much for all 10,000 of you and more that are here. I really appreciate your support. Make sure you like this video, comment down below, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!